like it. It feels like it. How's work? Are you finished up for the year yet?
Not yet, not yet.
Okay.
We are going to be finishing on the on Friday. Friday is going to
Okay.
be the 20th, isn't it?
Oh, stop. It's getting
Friday,
too
yeah,
close. I
yeah,
want
Friday
another
the
week.
20th. Oh, it's getting very, very
Oh,
close. I
how
can't
how much
believe.
time how much time do you have off?
Uh,
How,
so so we break off on the 20th. We get back in on the 6th of January.
oh,
So
very
that would be
nice.
is that 2 weeks, 3 weeks time,
Yes,
I think.
yes, yes.
The
Yeah.
20th. So we have the 10 days there to Christmas, and then yeah, about 3 weeks time, 15 days.
Oh,
Not
how
a lot,
lovely.
but that time flies like this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hi, Joe. Joe is
Oh,
here.
hi, Joe. How are you, Joe?
Yeah, great to yes, yes. She's caught our live today, Joe. Sometimes she misses it, and hey ho, it is a busy, busy period, isn't it? And Aspi as well is here.
Oh,
So
hi, SB.
hi.
Hi.
Yeah. Oh, it's the Sunday night live. It's morning where you work, Catherine, isn't it? In
Yeah,
Australia.
Monday morning. It's
Yes.
8:28 a.m.
8:28. Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
It's 9:20 something here. Let me see. 9:28. Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you can
that's
so
right.
it's
Because you're an
the
hour
other.
ahead of us. Yeah.
Yeah, we're near the full 12 hours ahead of you, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes,
Marcia,
yes.
hi, good to see you. Welcome aboard this Royal News Live. So, we come on briefly on a Sunday night morning for Catherine there to talk about
Yes.
what is going on in
For
our Royal
Australia.
House.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes, that
For
flag there.
Australia, it's 8:28 a.m.
Yes. So thank you for joining us here, Catherine. I'm so happy again to be with you on the show. How
Oh,
has you?
thank you for
Uh,
having me.
how has your season got on so far? The festive season is drawing closer and closer, isn't it? Are you
Yeah.
your Christmas tree already up? Christmas gifts? Tell us what's
Uh,
going on. Hmm?
yeah, I've got lights in the other room and I've got extra lights in here and
Hmm.
I've just finished revamping my garden and I like to have that all lovely for Christmas. But um, yeah, I've got all my mail done. I've sent out a few gifts, but my sister doesn't live far from me. By that I mean she's in the same state. She lives down the south. I'm on the north side. She's down the south coast. And I was surprised. I sent out cards on Monday of last week with
Hmm.
some gifts as well. And she said, "Oh, no, I haven't received them yet." I sent them the week before, actually. She said, "No,
Hmm.
I haven't received the card yet."
Hmm.
So
It's
I
quite
just,
slow, isn't it? This
yeah,
time of the
oh,
year, yes, the system
shocking.
slows down. The Royal Mail here has been the busiest it has ever been. So I
Oh,
went down to the post office a few days ago to post a few cards out to our dear friends here for those who sent their addresses, including yourself, Catherine, that those postcards are on their way down to you. I
oh,
couldn't
yes.
post to Canada because I was told there is a strike going on in Canada, and so Royal Mail can't deliver any parcels or letters. Are you aware of that?
No, that's
Hmm.
shocking.
Hmm. Because I had Becky to send a postcard as well, but I couldn't do it, so I'm holding on to that until they are back to normal. But I've sent to Aspi, yours is on its way. Who else? Stedman and Max Brat, Free Speech. Everybody who sent their addresses, I put a postcard in there for them. Joe, if you want one, you can send your address. I think I still have a few days before the the mad rush
So
finishes,
do
so I can.
you receive every day? Is your mail delivered to your household on a daily basis?
Yes, yes, mine is delivered properly. Let me see. Yeah, yes.
Well, we're every second day now. I didn't know this. See, I really wanted to send out, I haven't sent out a lot, but more than I usually do,
Hmm,
of cards and, like I said, a handful of gifts. And she said, don't forget, she said, our mail only gets delivered twice every second day. And it really stunned me because we're still paying the same price for postage.
hmm,
And so I had to take that into account.
hmm,
But I'm following up on a few items today. But
hmm.
you get your mail every day. Now, if Britain can do it every day, why can't we? We're all, look, the Royal Mail, and you can't
Hmm.
even send to a Commonwealth country like Canada. This is disgraceful.
It's very disgraceful. Well, they claimed that there is a series of uprisings in Canada and demonstrations.
Okay.
So it wasn't safe for them to deliver. Hi, Raven. Raven, you've been lost for a few weeks, Raven. I haven't seen you around. Good to see you back on these lives. Really grateful for all of you. Max, Mega Megs, hi. Guys, thank you for joining us tonight. It's quite a weird day to do a Royal News Live, a Sunday, but that's the time we manage throughout the weekend, and you know how Saturdays can get busy somehow as well. That's the only day we get to run around and do the little shoppings for the week and Christmas. So today, for me, has been one of the days I could manage to get this live. But Catherine, yourself, you've been extremely busy the past few days, so I can really appreciate that you have found time to come and sit with us
Thank you.
today.
No, it's my pleasure. The pleasure is all mine.
Hmm. So our Royal News Live, it seems a lot has been going on. It's pretty quiet here, but some royals have stepped out. Prince William recently visited the regiment, the 1st Battalion, the Mercian Regiment in Wiltshire. That's actually not far away from where I live. And this regiment for me is one of those that have gone through a lot in the past. The Mercian Regiment. Prince William is the patron, or sorry, the colonel in charge of the regiment. So he's having so many headships with most of these regiments. So the Mercian Regiment is one of those under his care. And that regiment served in Afghanistan back in 2009, 10, and I think they served again in 2012 with the Irish Guards, my very regiment at the time, and they lost quite a lot of soldiers in that tour. Uh,
Ooh.
yeah, they lost some really, really good number of soldiers in that tour. So it was great to see William visit and see them having those great family moments. He was seen playing games with the families of the soldiers, the wives, and this time means a lot to soldiers. Very, 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 very uh, emotional times when royals visit soldiers and have times like those, the emotions, the good ones, emotions that
Oh.
people have, because the soldiers are always away serving, they are very
Mm.
busy on exercise. So a time like that when they come together, bring families together, they spend those moments with their husbands who have been away for service somewhere on exercise, is always going to be appreciated. So Prince William did a great job on that day. I think that was the last sort of engagement he did this week before they all start to prepare to travel down to Norfolk for the Christmas gathering.
Yeah, how many are going to be at that Christmas gathering? It sounds like a really big shindig.
Oh yes, yes, it's a big one. It's 45. William revealed as a secret out on engagement recently when he said that he can't wait to spend Christmas with more than 45 of his cousins, brothers, I mean, sorry, relatives, so these would probably be again royals, 45. So it's going to be quite a big number. And this is a very special time for the royal family. Christmas is. Everyone is looking forward to this time, and especially as the royal family has been through a lot recently, health-wise. King Charles. We've got Catherine, Princess of Wales, just going through the cancer treatment.
Mm,
But also the Queen herself, Camilla, hasn't been in
mm,
great spirits recently with
mm,
the infections she has had. Not to forget Princess Anne with falling off the horse, and
mm,
she got near concussion. So it has been quite a challenging year for the royal family. So this Christmas is going to be a moment of reflection,
mm.
but also it is going to be one of the very few Christmases that they have spent without Her Majesty the late Queen Elizabeth. And so you can see how special it means to them. They sent out all the invitations we learned the other day, for those who are going to spend Christmas with the rest of the royals. We are not sure yet whether the Catherine, Princess of Wales's father, the Middleton's family are going to be there, but usually they are invited. And but we will get to see who has attended and who hasn't. Usually when we look at the service they attend at St. Margaret's Church in the morning, Magdalene's church. What's the church called? Magdalene's church in the morning, because they usually do the tradition of being fed
Yeah.
out of church, and we can always pinpoint who has attended the children,
Mm,
royal children, and William and Catherine, George. We get to see Princess Anne, her husband, Admiral Sir Lawrence. We see Sophie and Edward and Andrew, of course, are all going to be in the mix. Now, Aspias talked about Eugenie. I
yes,
think
I saw that.
Rose.
I was
Mm,
going to bring it
mm,
up actually.
mm,
What are
mm,
your thoughts on that? Do you think that because apparently the Sussex have extended an invitation to two couples, four people,
mm,
and one of them is supposed to be, according to their latest press release, is supposed
mm.
to be Eugenie. What do you think about that?
Well, Eugenie has always been a bit of.
Yeah.
She goes there, isn't it? She usually goes, and
Mm,
sometimes without even letting people know here, and we
mm,
see her in the press that she's spending time with the Megans and Harrys. So whether she's going to go this time round, um, I'm not sure, but I don't think any member of the royal family right now would put themselves at a position where they are going to be seen with Meghan and Harry. Um, we read a few weeks the other day back that the mere mentioning of Meghan and Harry at a royal gathering is a no-no.
yep,
So
yep.
that should mean that probably every royal has been in one way or the other warned against being with Meghan and Harry's, and not just because they don't want them to be closer to them, but it's more of not security, a trust thing, trust,
Mm,
and
mm,
whether they can trust anybody being next to them and not jeopardizing the royal family in one way or the other. If she goes ahead and does that, it will not surprise us because Eugenie has always been a bit dodgy when it comes to the Meghan and Harry's. But Eugenie's sister is very much going to be in Sandringham. Okay.
I don't think Eugenie has anything to gain by going over to Montecito. We understand her nature and her alliance with the Sussexes. We get all
mm,
that. But
mm,
what is there to be gained by going? Because apparently, um, Queen Camilla's son said in a podcast that his mother had rung him, Camilla, his mother, had rung him and said she rang him specifically to request that he attend Christmas this year, and people are reading all sorts of things into it, which is understandable given the state of play with the king's health. But
mm,
I just feel I don't know what she had. I thought about it, and I don't know what she has to gain by going, unless, of course, her father is treated badly, in her view anyway, because there is talk that Prince Andrew will be discouraged from walking to church.
mm,
He'll be at the lunch at the Christmas dinner event with all the
mm,
relatives, as he should be, in my
mm,
view.
mm,
But only thing I think she could gain from it is to just stick the middle finger up to the king if her
mm,
father is not treated well. But even that's pretty shallow gain in my view. I don't
mm.
know. It seems a bit. And not only that, when was the last time Harry and Meghan extended an invitation to any of the royals for anything? So why are they extending this invitation now when they should be over here? Because what if it is his father's last Christmas and he's over there?
Mhm.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I see, yeah,
Mm,
yeah, definitely. I know where you're coming from. For Meghan and Harry, I think it's very telling of how lonely Christmas is going to be for them as well, because um, they were not invited for a reason we all know. Secondly, they would like to, as much as because they've always been getting on with Eugenie somehow.
yeah,
They've still
yeah.
got to have somebody sort of because Prince Harry, is a very, very, he's very lonely man down there. Days like these, he used to spend them with the royals here, the royal tradition. So getting to spend them in United States on his own when he was used to growing up in this very lovely tradition of spending Christmas is going to be very, very lonely for him. So how does he cope then? Maybe by inviting somebody who's like Eugenie, who he still has elements of, communication with her so that he doesn't feel completely alone on this day. So if Eugene is to go down to Montecito to spend Christmas with Harry, I think it is going to be a case of giving Harry some sort of company. But other than that, she has nothing to gain. And this
No.
business of mourning about Prince Andrew not being treated well, and I think the royal family have been very, very, very good to Prince Andrew in a way because he still has where to stay. He doesn't work, but he's still having whatever he needs. Okay, and for what Andrew obviously did, we can't go into more of that. Uh, but he knows himself that whenever he steps out and with the Royals, it's not going to be well seen in the media, in the papers, because everybody's going to write about Andrew. Look at Andrew, that man. What is he doing there, and all of that. So to be honest, they've always done the right thing to keep Andrew out of the limelight from being seen with the other royals. So Eugenie should be able to understand that. Okay.
Well,
But
yeah, Eugenie, Sam makes a really good point here. She's always looked at the Eugenie relationship as perhaps instigated and encouraged by Charles.
mm,
Historically, the monarch would keep tabs on those estranged by sending or commanding people to do that.
mm,
I think there might be something in that because he wouldn't want his son to be on his own. It's actually very sad. Look, if I had a choice, look. I've shaken the Queen's hand. She shook my hand. She reached out for me. There's Catherine. Where's Catherine? There she is. And I've got that gorgeous close-up photo of the King when they during the royal tour, right? But even with 45 people, I don't know. I would still go to that event if I had if I had an invitation to go to that, I would go. And I think Sam's right. I think
Yeah.
she's onto something. Because
Mm-hmm.
otherwise, the king would be thinking, if his son's all alone over there in Montecito with that ghastly wife of his,
Yeah.
remembering he worries about his son's mental
Health.
wellness. Yeah,
Yes, he does, and you're very
yeah,
right. Sam, actually, that's really well highlighted there.
yes,
King Charles is no, he still loves this young man. They all do. They
yes,
are worried about him, and they would like him to have a good life. He has obviously on so many occasions, estranged his corner, he's done whatever he has done, but they are still looking at him as somebody who just got lost in some way, or somebody who was led on this sort of path that he is on. So there are still some reservations from King Charles. Okay. Um, the reason he's probably not inviting them to come to Sandringham is because there are other royals who will feel uncomfortable. Okay. They will feel uncomfortable.
Sam's correcting you. She said, Francis, it's not young man, it's man child. Well, we
Okay.
all know that. We all know Francis is very gracious. So I just thought I'd let you know. Sorry to interrupt you. You were saying about this young man slash man child.
Yeah. Hi, Becky. Hi, Sam.
Sorry,
Asking guys. Thank
Francis.
you. Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in again. So we are just literally talking about Christmas and how royals are going to be spending that festive period. And yes, so Prince Harry not on the cards for to be invited to this his tradition, special tradition. Prince Harry should be, missing. He misses all of these things. There isn't anything that is going on here with the royal family that Harry is not missing. Okay, but he is in a position where he can't come across as he's missing anything, because again people will say, you see what we told you, we see this is what you would be missing. But he sits down there, I think, and looks back on what he's missing and feels sad, okay, about all of these events. uh, he knows that, on such days like Christmas, they meet at Sandringham in Norfolk, there is opening of gifts, and he wrote about all of these things.
Gorgeous.
Yeah,
I
he wrote
know.
all of these things in his spare, didn't he?
Oh, I
That
can
is,
just see it. Oh my gosh, too much,
uh,
too
uh,
gorgeous.
yeah, when you read Spare, Prince Harry spends a good few chapters talking about Christmas at Sandringham, Norfolk, and how the Queen loves this day, how all of them gather around this massive table and they all open presents on the count of three. One, two, three. Woo! Everybody opens their presents, and it's a joyful moment. They play games and they open gifts on Christmas Eve after their afternoon
Ah,
tea. So he
mm,
talks about all of these things. And
mm,
for Harry, he's a man who is very much still missing all of these.
mm, mm.
But there is no way back in. There is no way he can come to be
No,
part of this because of the situation
terrible.
he's in. Okay, terrible. So for Harry, the only way he can probably have a Christmas that is going to be closer to his family here is having Eugenie maybe closer, having Eugenie there and they talk, have some bit of memories on the day. Uh, but it is sad, very, very sad. William and Catherine, as long as they are going to be there at Sandringham, I don't see the king inviting Meghan. Not after what we saw for that walkabout in Windsor, for the four
Mm.
of them, and how you saw people wanting to be swallowed by the ground, and how very uncomfortable everybody was. Okay.
Mm. Well, when you look at when they turned up for the Jubilee and they're walking down the church aisle and she's wearing um,
The
that
white
white suit and a silly hat, you know,
heart,
which
yes.
just like a sailor's hat.
Mm,
And everyone, like, they were late. I mean,
mm,
come on, you're not the, I nearly swore, you're not the bride at a wedding, you know. Who the hell do you two think you are? And then they get down and they discover that they actually have to go past people. Don't you hate that? You got to walk
mm,
past people to get to your chair when you go
mm,
to the cinema or the theater or something. I mean, you know, they're not the numero uno, and that's Harry's problem. Harry's
mm,
problem is his brother is the number one. Now,
mm,
look, we know what it's like in families. I'm the firstborn. Oh, darlings, I'm sorry. I'm the eldest of eight. Sorry, plebs, I can't help it. I'm the real victim here. Never mind that I stand over you. So we know what it's like. Okay, we get it. But this is the royal family. They were trained in this. He was
mm,
trained. He was trained to be his wingman. And it was what his mother wanted. He's just not paying any attention to any of this. And now yes, I think Sam is right. I think she's hit the nail on the head, you know. The king
mm,
wants to check in on his son and he's sending an envoy.
mm.
That's what's going on here.
In a subtle way, in a
Yes,
very subtle.
yes.
Yeah. So you could be right, Sam, because they have to keep close tabs with them. You know, they have to know what is going on there in one way, and it's the king's responsibility as well to ensure that Harry is going through times that are not going to be bad for him over this Christmas season. So as a
Yeah.
father, I suppose he has that responsibility. But from a perspective of somebody who walked away from the royal family and did whatever they have done, some people would argue that he chose that path, so he decided to do what he has done to the royal family. Why should we bother with him? But it's very sad. I was reading from there's an article I was reading recently, and somebody was saying the last nail on the coffin for Meghan and Harry and Eva coming back here in the UK was how they were treated uh, when they arrived here for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee and later on for the funeral, where everybody completely ignored them. Ignored them. Nobody wanted them.
You could see it. Like everyone around them was angry they were late. People were
Absolutely.
side-eyeing them. It was like something, honestly, I've watched some of that quite a number of times because it's so out there. And the British are not like that. That's why it's so stark. It's startling to see the British expressions of contempt and distaste. The
Mm,
British don't show themselves like that. The Americans do.
mm.
Australians do. They call a shovel a spade a shovel, or whatever, while they're digging a
Yes.
grave. So it was all there. It was all there in all of these British faces.
It was.
No,
And
yeah,
guess what? Because they were given. Their seat wasn't the best seat on the day in St. Paul's Cathedral, I remember. And Giselle tells us here they wanted to get on the bus. So they didn't actually get on the bus. So they wanted to arrive in, in their own special way, but there was a transport for them to jump on.
Oh, for
Okay,
crying out
but they
loud.
didn't. So they intentionally did it so that they could be given their own way. So they want to be seen as the special people, always trying to draw attention. How sad of them to still want to do that, even when they know that they are not wanted here. Okay, but that's St.
Which
Paul's
tells
Cathedral.
you,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
family must be breathing a sigh of relief
That they're
that,
not.
they're
Yeah.
not going to be around at Christmas.
It,
They must be like wiping the perspiration off their brow.
yeah. Because can you imagine what would go on
Oh,
in Sandringham if they were there? Because at that St. Paul's Cathedral, I always want to come back to that event because was that the last event we actually
yeah,
saw them
yeah.
with Meghan Markle? Then just before the funeral, and they were given a very terrible seat on the day, so they arrived. All the royals at the other side, the senior royals, and then they placed Meghan and Harry on the left-hand side, somewhere in very, very bad seats. So they gave them there. So when they arrived, Harry was holding Meghan Markle's hand, and they are strolling in the corridors. And then Harry was shown where he was going to sit. They pointed there, and so he looked onto the right hand side to see where the rest were sat. And they were sat
That's
very
priceless.
nicely. Yeah. And he was sat in this very bad seat. And he said, "What? Okay." So you could see the expression on his face.
He asked, didn't he? Didn't he ask who did that?
Yeah.
And
High free speech. Yeah. So it was that event there is, thank you so much for highlighting that St. Paul's Cathedral event. It was very special to me in many respects in the way they treated Meghan Markle and Prince Harry because they weren't even invited for the lunch. There was after lunch, after the St. Paul's Cathedral, all the royals headed to is it the Gorringe Hotel? There's a hotel, is it Savoy or Gorringe Hotel? Very, very nice hotel where royals like to go and spend some fun, lovely time. All of the royals headed straight to this venue for lunch. And guess where Meghan Markle and Prince Harry headed to?
the
Back to Frog
naughty corner.
Hotel. Yes, naughty corner.
Oh, how
So they were
humiliating.
not invited to that lunch.
So
But how
humiliating.
sad, yeah, how sad again, because this, Harry, who has always been right in the center of all these pom poms, is there,
Well, look at the
he's in
way
the midst.
Mike
Hmm?
Tyndall was hilarious. He had the program in his hand and he's out the front and he's just looking anywhere and he's
Yeah.
just he's got his program and he's looking anywhere but at Harry.
Was that when they were out by the
Out the front of
staircase,
the church
waiting for
after.
their transport, just after? And you could see Mike Tyndall looking away. And I
Oh,
think it
he was
was
so
Zara. Was it
funny.
Zara who actually sort of tried to lend a hand and say, well,
Yeah.
by pointing at their transport, your transport has arrived,
Yeah, there it is.
Meghan and Harry. Yeah, that was the only
It's
interaction I actually saw.
hilarious.
She
Oh
pointed,
my
your
God.
transport has arrived.
Off you
You
go.
know?
Bye. They didn't even get a royal wave. Oh, that's so funny. But it highlights, I think, your point, and it was a point that was missed on me because Christmas is a really sad time for a lot of people. And I've had some, after the death of my husband and my boys, I had some very lonely Christmases because I couldn't celebrate it, etc. The point I'm making is there's nothing worse than just being out of the loop on your own, even if you chose it. In his case, this is the unintended consequences of his decisions and actions, right?
Mm,
So
mm,
you have highlighted something very important, which is he must be as miserable as all out.
mm,
He has to be. It's just
mm.
awful. I think,
And
it's easy to really hate on him and I'm I don't like leading the charge, but I have a couple of times, but I'm never proud of it. But
Mm, mm,
I
mm.
think you're right, Francis. I think that he's done it
He's
to
always
himself, but
He's always going
still,
to miss these events, whether it's the King's birthday parade, because these events are events that Prince Harry grew up enjoying
yeah,
day in, day out. He was part of the mix. He was one of those who were going to be on the horses or somewhere on the balconies. He's
yeah,
right there in the mix, dressing up in uniform and coordinating events. Was very much a part of this tradition. He was such a valued member of the royal family and very, very chatty, very happy man around other people. He was those days until, of course, he changed for the worse that he is now. So
hmm,
these events are always going to be to sort of remind Prince Harry of what he's missing. On
that's
Christmas Day, he knows that, they go to the church. Is it St. Magdalene's Church? Is it in
mm,
Norfolk?
mm,
And they walk as they come out in their tradition with the Queen or the King in front, and all of them follow behind. They are happy, very happy family. And here he is going to be in Montecito in their house. They're very miserable, just, and I'm quite sure he will be watching and looking at this because he should be having a way of watching these events on television, or so he will be seeing these events and he won't be feeling very happy because he's missing out. And the Christmas, royals give themselves Christmas gifts. Okay, so, and they give themselves weird gifts. I remember apparently Prince William gifted who was gave them a pair of socks on Christmas. These socks were not, some had holes in them. So these are very, very funny gifts, they give to themselves, but it's all part of the fun. So he's going to be missing all of that. But it's sad, like we have said, he brought this upon himself. And whether Eugenie now is going in as a way of, helping, lending Prince Harry a hand through these very sad moments, is going to be facing over Christmas season. But somebody there, I think that was it Sam, who says that it could be King Charles's way
was
of,
Sam.
yeah, sending this girl there to keep tabs. And usually, when you're gonna do that, you always use somebody's best friend. Okay.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah.
It's actually very wise. Um, I think Joe Vickers, I think, just said, yes,
Mm.
what Harry could do as a Christmas gift to his father is to drop his court cases. He needs
Mm.
to, I hate this expression, because there's no branches left on this tree, but
Okay.
he could extend a hand of peace, let's put it this way, instead of an
Mm.
olive branch, because there's no branches left. He could extend a hand of peace. He could extend but he won't. He won't, Joe.
Mm.
He won't.
Mm.
He's got a lot
Mm.
to prove, and we saw this at that interview with the New York Times, with that interviewer Sorkin, and he said, "What do you want to get out of this interview?" And he said accountability, and he's really angry. He's still bitter and
Mm.
angry. He
Mm.
won't, but I tell you, it would bring his father some peace. It could be an amazing gift he could give his father. But,
Mm.
he needs prayer. This man child. I have to think about the audience. Some are calling him a man child. um, he needs prayer over Christmas because that's when people are quite vulnerable, when they're faced with their own stupidity and recognition of, oh my God, what hole have I dug for myself here?
It is stupidity. It is Prince Harry who was just caught
Mm,
up in the excitement of meeting this girl, and he just got he lost himself in this whole process. He's led
yeah.
onto this path which has got him to places that he can't pull back. He's already taken on all of these projects, and he's probably used the money they have. There's no way of
Mm.
pulling out. So he's just caught up in this uh, silly situation he put himself in. Oh, I forgot to mention that I got issues with my AdSense account. I have to sort it out. So I
Oh
YouTube
no.
took off my they took off my yeah, because I've just seen Aspi there
Oh, what?
and Steadman, yes. So I had to disconnect. YouTube had to pause my monetization until I sort that out. So it's just the AdSense, Google AdSense account. Once that's sorted, the stickers and the memberships and everything will be back on. Bear with me, my dear friends. I was sorry,
Okay.
I should have said that to start with. So I'm gonna be missing out on these lovely super stickers. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no.
But as soon as
Oh no.
yes.
All that money.
Yeah, but it's there. We haven't lost our money. We still have it. I can see it in the accounts. But it's like they have. I have to connect my AdSense, Google AdSense accounts properly, and then I will switch back on the monetization and adverts on the channel. So thank you so much, guys. I should have started with that. We just went straight in, didn't we?
We
And I
did,
just
yeah,
skipped
yeah.
my mind, yes. But you will see them back on very soon once I've sorted that out. For
Yeah.
now, I just have the buy me a coffee link and what's the other one? And PayPal links. If you use that, I will still get the funds. So thank you so much, Aspi and Steadman, and every one of you that has actually taken notice of that. I'll give you more updates as I get that sorted, but it's just sorting out the accounts and on the channel so that YouTube can then start transferring these funds smoothly.
Oh, that's so generous. Honestly,
Mm,
that's really it's just gorgeous.
yeah,
Generosity. I think
yeah,
people
yeah.
with generous hearts really
I
do.
know, very
They do
lovely.
better in life. You have to have a
Thank
generous heart.
you, thank you.
Yeah,
And
it's
the
nice.
Stefan, I think, was in here. I have put your postcard in the post for you. Aspi, yours is also in the post. It should be able to arrive in, they said, 5 to 7 working days. So fingers crossed you get these before Christmas because that is my target. It's for you to have these little postcards before then. And Catherine, I've put yours in as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
thank you. Thank you
yeah,
very
it's
much.
Canada that I couldn't post to because of what is going there. So I think Becky and somebody else, was it Becky and Maxborough,
Yeah,
yours is there. So until Canada gets to resolve the uprisings that are going there, if we have some friends of ours in Canada here, please give us an update on what's going on. We can't apparently post anything to Canada
yeah.
at such a time. Hmm.
Well, I've sent out a handful of cards,
Hmm.
and we've this is how we started off chatting about our updates. I did
Yeah.
send out. I've sent out a couple of gifts as well, but um, in Australia, we only get our mail every second day,
Hmm.
and now everything is just sent by airmail. So I'll be chasing up a few things today, but
Hmm.
I believe things will arrive before Christmas. It's just that time of year. Like, I couldn't believe it. I sent a card to my sister on the Monday, and
Hmm.
she's just down the south coast, and she hadn't received it the by the end of the week on the Friday. It still hadn't the card, right? So
Hmm.
um, it's I suppose it's just that time of the year. I don't know about anyone else, but I feel like I want to send things in the mail more than I have most other years. I think it's because we're so overtaken with technology now. How do you feel, Francis?
Sending things in the mail than using,
Yeah,
but yeah. Well, I prefer sending things in their real form to people. So,
yeah.
because somebody I think was telling me, oh, you could send through an email or you could, take a picture. But I always like something to arrive in its real form. So you
Me
have
too.
something to hold on and open. I know we have sent cards through Moonpig. There is a website here, Moonpig, and you design your card and send it across through it's like an e-card online. They open it and read. And then what happens to it? You always want something that will come through the post, sit there, you hold it and have a bit of feeling for it.
I like
Yeah,
cards.
yeah,
I
yeah,
keep cards. I've got
yeah.
cards that go back 30, 40 years, you know. Yeah, I suppose you and I are like Fred and Betty Flintstone of the internet now, because we send things via Stone
Yeah.
Age.
And you've got Becky here, yes. Yeah, she confirms, she tells us there is an issue with the
Ah,
workers.
oh
Mm.
wow.
Yeah, so that's why. Sorry, Becky, you couldn't receive this on time, but you will. You will once things get back to normal. I'll put your postcard in the post for you as a
Sounds like
belated.
Canada's shut down. The
But
the lights are out.
ASPI tells us, interestingly, in the US, postal workers are not allowed to strike. So that's.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, so they are not allowed to strike. So that's good because then it means people will get their gifts, on time. But also, when the postal system breaks down,
Yes.
it's not a good sign of things in the country because pe- people receive things from. This is the way we send out things to our friends, relatives, brothers across the Atlantic, and if we can't use that medium, many people are not using online. Technology has come up, but people still prefer the ordinary ways we used to have of writing letters. And I think, was it Stedman again? No, I think it's Jisoo who said, I feel it's a shame that letter writing is a thing of the past. Okay, so I still think,
He still sends handwritten letters.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's I still like it,
Yeah, I know.
handwritten
I
letter.
like it too.
Yeah,
I do too. My neighbour gives me the most exquisite birthday cards. They're
mm, mm,
Italian. Oh,
mm.
I keep every one of them. They're just so well. She thinks about it, and I don't know, but I've just really ticked off about. I only learned about it. I only learned about it recently. I don't know. It's probably been going on like this for a couple of years in Australia, where you only get your mail every second day. Oh, for crying out loud!
Yeah,
What is going on in this world?
I know. And that actually brings me back to the Queen with her
Yeah.
tradition of sending out cards, 750 cards she writes. She sends out, on Christmas Day. And that tradition, I'm told, it was still, taken up front by, I mean, King Charles. He does that as well as a way of continuing that special tradition. 750 cards. So now the royal
She
family,
was amazing.
yeah, the royal family still believe in these traditional ways of sending out messages. Look at the invitations that they sent out to people to come and attend the Christmas carol service. Catherine, was those letters were typed. Catherine wrote the message, they typed them up, and they sent them to everybody because they want people to receive something as a special. It feels very special for somebody to still send you a message like that, as opposed to all of these online things we see designed by internet. And we treasure our old-fashioned ways.
Oh yes, yes. I sent a really big card to my son. I can see this is going to become a big family joke now. So his father lives with him. He cares for his father. So it's a really big square card, and it says, "You are the most amazing son," right? So
Mm.
I've got two surviving sons. So he says to me the other day, "Mum, look, save your money with the cards." And there was a separate card in there for his father. I said, "But I got that especially for you." He said, "Well, probably would have been a probably would have been a good idea to write in it." And he said, "I'm going to give it back to you." And I said, "All right, well, because we're having Christmas Day early on next Sunday at our other
Mm.
son, my other son's." I said, "All right." I said, "Well, don't say anything. I'll recycle it and I'll give it to your other brother."
Yeah.
So I'm going to regift it. It'll come out. It'll come out. It won't be a big family secret because
Yeah.
Daniel will go, "Oh, Mum, this is beautiful," and Sean won't be able to help himself. But he said to me, "Stop sending me things in the mail." And I said, "But baby, you'll come and visit me."
Yeah. Yeah.
I love these family jokes, like
Oh,
the
yes.
royal family with their joke presents. I
Oh,
love
they
all that
do.
stuff. I
They
love
do, and that's
practical
why
jokes.
Harry is sat where he is in California, and he's missing these moments because they have a lot of fun on Christmas Day with this
Yeah.
giving of crazy and weird gifts to each other. There is a royal in there apparently who likes to gift slippers, very 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 old fashioned slippers, old fashioned socks. So there is somebody they give, they like to gift the same gift every year. That when they do the secret Santa thing, everybody doesn't want to get the to get that person as their secret Santa because they know they give
Oh,
rubbish gifts. But
oh, that's
but
funny.
again, these
Diana,
royals,
because
yeah,
Diana
but the
used to talk
royals,
about that, didn't she?
yes, yes. But I mean, the royals, they have, let's face it, they have everything,
Yeah.
the jewels, they have everything really. They don't need fancy gifts, they don't need anything. The Queen, for example, didn't need any of those gifts. All they want is a bit of that belly laugh on the day. They
Oh,
don't
that's
want
really,
anything.
really
Yeah,
gorgeous.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Because why
really
are you
lovely. Oh, it's such a shame that those Sussex kids, if they do in fact exist, it's such a shame. How many years they've been, 5, 6 years now away, and they've not been to any of this. They've missed out on all of this. No wonder questions are being raised, and it's becoming a hot topic again. It's
mm-hmm.
so sad.
It's very sad because the young royals are going to be there. Christmas is a day for them to meet, get to know the young ones as well. They play about together, cousins. They met up. George, Charlotte, Louis, the kids for Beatrice. Eugenie if she's gonna be there. Zara's. They have all their young kids. Those kids, it's lovely for them because they are the future generation of royals we are going to see. And so, for Harry and Meghan not to have their children here, you wonder what sort of future they are going to have. These are kids who are going to grow up being isolated. Nobody knows about them. They will find it very very difficult to mix, because they have missed out a
Yeah.
huge chunk of their special growing up. Okay. And they are going to get to a stage where, it will always be pointless for them to come because nobody really knows them. Okay. So, again, who is to blame for this? I still sit here and put my hands up and say it's Harry and Meghan themselves. Because if they
They've
can't
done this.
calm down,
They've
yeah,
done it.
if themselves haven't been able to come here because they have not been invited or they are not trusted, at least there is a way they can send those kids to be present at these gatherings. I'm sure there is a way. We have in this country, we have families where, the mom, dad are living separate ways. But on Christmas, the kids somehow find themselves in the places they are supposed to be for the sake of having the family norms and traditions and seeing themselves. As a parent, there is always something you can do to make sure those kids are still in touch with their traditions. Okay, but Harry, Meghan, you know, are not doing any good for those children. And these
Well,
questions being
the
raised,
Americans are really big, you know, they're so big on these. I mean, I spent a year in New York, and Thanksgiving and Christmas, oh, the trees, you know, everyone's competing for the biggest tree and beautiful wreaths on doors. Everything is so decorated. Tradition, tradition, tradition. You know, it hasn't gone away. Despite the woke wave that we've been enduring in recent years, these Christmas traditions are really, really important. Americans must be scratching their head when they look
mm,
at the way Harry and Meghan cosset those children. You know,
mm,
it's really bizarre. But, you know, didn't Mike or Zara Tyndall say that no one in the royal family has met the Sussex children? Didn't they say that?
yeah, yeah, they did say that. And it's very
Whoa.
sad, especially as these kids are on the line of succession. That is now a huge responsibility for the parents to ensure those kids are visible. You can't have invisible children in the line of succession. You can't. It's not acceptable. Uh, but they haven't, and also they haven't done anything to bring those kids down here. Then, secondly, they named this little girl Lilibet. That name belonged to Queen Elizabeth. So do the honor of bringing those children back here the same way you found it important to name them after their royal ancestors here. Okay? So there is a lot of hypocrisy going on with Meghan and Harry. One minute we don't want to be part of this family. The other minute they are naming their kids after the royal family. They are using the royal titles on their businesses, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. I've seen this polo thing which was released recently. I can still see Executive Director Meghan Harry, Duke and Duchess of Sussex. So if they are still using these royal accolades in their business ventures. So must they know that they need to stay in touch with the royal family somewhere, somehow, and not just feeding off the royal family, and yet they are not, respecting the traditions. It's very, very sad. And I know people, our
Mm.
friends in the comments here would also agree with us that having these invisible children as part of the line of succession is something that should be debated upon seriously. And if they go ahead with keeping these kids away in the way they are, I think they should get them off that line of succession. I really think
I think that's a thorny issue. Look,
it
no one,
is.
to be honest with you, I don't care whether they were born of a surrogate or not. I just feel that they've pulled the wool over everyone, tried to, because there were people who were onto it very quickly. And but they do not belong in the line of succession. And I mean, even her sister said that she doesn't believe they exist. Even her sister said this on an interview recently. And so
Yeah.
the thing is, you know, she may have picked up her eggs from some clinic in Canada, but
Mm.
that doesn't mean that they are viable.
Do you
Who
mean
cares?
Megan's
Who
sister?
cares? Yeah, Megan's sister,
What's her
Sam.
Samantha? Samantha is it?
She
Samantha
said,
Marco.
yeah, her and her father. She was even asked the question, "What does your father think?" It was a sympathetic interviewer, and she said, "No, we don't. we questioned the existence of these children. And
mm,
yeah, she was asked it, and she didn't take a step back. She didn't,
mm-hmm,
and she was not just poking the bear when she said it. She was
mm-hmm,
answering a question very directly. And look, most people, surrogacy goes back a long way. It's not a new thing.
mm,
In the Bible, you see women who are the Hebrew midwives. They would, if there was a surrogate born, they would have the new mother there and the mother who was giving birth, and the child would immediately be transferred to the new mother. There was a way they did it. This is not new. Surrogacy is not a new thing. People like to think we're so sophisticated. This goes back a long way. This went on with the ancients, right?
mm,
So
mm,
a lot of people don't mind it, and they feel it was a lost opportunity for surrogate parents, that they wouldn't own it and they wouldn't say, look, this is what we've had to do for some reason or other, right?
mm,
But you know, they cannot be in the line of succession, and that is why they tried to pull the wool over everyone's eyes, because
mm,
they can't have George and Charlotte and Louis in the line of succession without them having their children in the line of succession. The narcissist would not allow it, and neither would he, because he's so eaten up with jealousy. But I think that the real issue, and a lot of people are saying they're upset with the king. You know, there's a couple of YouTubers who, always banging on about the king. I understand why the king is not stripping titles. I understand why he's not dealing with Harry, because for years, over 10 years, Diana was on the front page of the every flippin' newspaper going in the UK after her death. And I feel the king is worried about the backlash of
mm,
if he took any steps over Harry, because the media are soft on Harry. The media are
mm,
gaslighting the public about Harry. They want Harry back. And if the king took any steps to remove those children from the line of succession, it's unfortunate, but it's going to fall to William. I believe there'll be a backlash from the media, because everyone is coming around Harry. Bring Harry back. We want Harry back. Even even some of my favorite royal commentators, I couldn't believe I was listening to the other day. Stop romanticizing about this man. He's gone. He no
mm,
longer exists. But the
mm,
king knows the media will use this against him if he
mm,
takes any strident steps against his son. So he
mm,
does everything through soft back channels. He
mm,
has to. I just don't believe he can do anything. He's hamstrung because it's Diana's son, and the
mm,
media are soft on him. They are all soft on him, and they're all hating on Meghan, but they're all soft on Harry, because they believe if they go hard on Meghan, they're giving him a way out.
mm,
But if he
mm.
comes out, he's going to have to go into some kind of deprogramming and, sort of psychological deprogramming, as well as drug rehab. He's a
He
mess.
can't. I can't see him back in. I really can't. Not a chance. I can't. And for as long as he's still going to be doing whatever he is in those projects, dragging his father's government to court because of police security and standing in the box and testifying, things that have never been heard of. Royals are not supposed to put themselves
It's
in
pretty
those sort of.
shocking.
It's very shocking.
Yeah.
That spare, everything is done. He's sort of burnt those bridges in a way that it's going to be very difficult for him to come back in. So these stories going around that Harry to get back, Harry, they are lining up behind people to try and get Harry back in. I don't agree with those stories, and I don't
No.
think it will happen because William, Catherine themselves have made it clear. I've from reading around how. When was the last time William spoke to his brother? When? This, and there isn't any hope that they are going to be on talking terms soon. And then you tell me that Harry is going to get back in. No chance. I really
Well, they
can't see
weren't.
that
They
happen.
weren't even in the same room at the Diana Awards recently. Look at that.
Yeah,
That
and
tells you how
William,
deep that rift is.
exactly. And William can't even stay, even if one is going to appear via video link. One makes sure to leave before the other one appears on video link. And that's really, really sad that events got to that. But again, I think it's the right thing to do for William because you can't have a brother who goes out there and talks about you, these secret things that
Mm.
Harry shared with the public, and you still have any reservations for them. Okay, so my brother pushed me and I fell on the dog ball and I broke my rib. Those things there, how do you start telling a story
Mm.
of such, sharing all those innermost secrets of the family?
So much
Can
private
you imagine
information
if
there.
it's William who is? Can you imagine if it's William who did that to Harry? And now he would have made a fuss of that. Okay,
Mm. Mm.
so nobody can convince me that they can even open those gates back in for Prince Harry after all of that.
Oh, they can't, and I don't think I don't think I think the king finds it easier that he's stateside, for all the obvious reasons. His wife um, is unwell. She's still recovering. My sister had pneumonia a few months back. The cough lingered for months, and it's only now she's beginning to feel better. So he's got his wife. The king's got
Mm,
his wife, and takes a long time to recover from pneumonia. He's still undergoing treatment. I think it's easier for the king to have his son stateside, but he doesn't want anything untoward happening to him, and he is not going to pull any levers publicly. I just don't believe he can. The media would crucify the king. They would crucify the king if he took his title away, if he did anything publicly, because they're always using Harry. Look at Tina Brown recently. I was just watching a Sun the other day. They're all going on about Harry, Harry, Harry. I'm thinking, shut up. You're gaslighting us. Sky News Australia, Harry, Harry, yes, yes. Oh, stop it. So I want to slap someone when I hear this nonsense because the public haven't forgotten. They just haven't. And they're not going to
mm,
be gaslit on this. No, the king's hands are tied. He will not he was blamed for the death of Diana. Can you imagine having to
mm,
deal with that for years? He's still dealing with it. I'm still surprised at some of the venom I see in some of the comments on my YouTube channel. I heard it from a few people at the um, Royal Tour recently in Australia. A couple of people, they they're still venomous about, they blame Camilla. I was taken aback.
mm,
Um, the king's hands are tied. And sadly, it will fall. And I'm reading some reports that are saying that William is still really angry.
He's well. It's very visible, isn't it? With there being no channel of communication between William and Harry. But you're very right. Um, the king can't do anything right now apart from what he is doing. So he's going to keep it as it is now. Okay, little bits of showing us, oh, there could be a ray of hope. There could be a branch offered here and there, but that's as far as we're gonna see. We can't see him
Yeah,
going
yeah.
beyond. We can't see him invite Harry back to stand at the balcony for the King's birthday parade. We can't see that. We can't see those two coming back to Christmas at Sandringham.
Mm.
No chance. Because we know when they come back, it's going to be chaos at Sandringham. Chaos. Okay.
Oh, that's exactly right. And I just don't know though if oh, it's hard to say, and it's easy to become entrenched in a mindset, in relation to these matters with Harry and Meghan. But I just think he's too stubborn. I don't think he has the capacity for self-reflection. I just don't. I think he's so clouded by drugs.
Hmm. Okay, so I'm pulling up that Aspie says Harry and Meghan are keeping the children away out of the pure spite. I feel Charles should
Yes.
somehow force them to bring the children. Okay.
Free speech says something interesting too. Catherine is still fragile. The last thing she needs is all of this drama rama, forget it.
She doesn't
Mm,
need that, and
mm,
with the health scares and everything going on, absolutely, you can't have that drama around to you know de-energize the royals who are now starting to get their energies back. Lady C said Meg has the royals snookered cause paperwork is done for kids, so can't accuse of lies. Meg was clever, and Aspie says there has to be some way the king should state to Harry and Meghan, if you don't bring the kids to visit, the
yes, I saw
UK
that.
then cannot be in the line of succession. Exactly what we have been
Mm,
talking about here. That they
mm,
should, I'm sure they can do something like that. But I think it's for the king. It's not wanting to put that out in the papers to steer,
mm,
be like steering the pot more. If they want to handle those things behind the scenes, who knows if this pressure is actually being put on these people behind the scenes. Okay, so but only time is going to tell. It is going to tell. They are not going to keep those kids forever, really. If they want those kids to still have a bit of a share of things here, they will eventually have to bring those kids here. The truth will be known. If those kids exist
mm,
or don't, this truth will one
mm.
day be known. There is a
Yeah,
law.
I think you're right. It's
Mm,
inevitable. It really is just a matter of when. My, well, you know, I, I just feel for the king, to be honest. I understand William, and I support him in his decisions in respect to his brother. But for the king, he's in such a delicate position, and the man's not perfect, But come on, let's have some compassion for this man. It's my view. I just can't believe some of the things that some people say. Just, the lack of humanity. That's, I suppose, just shocks me sometimes.
mm. But it's
Mm.
surprising because we see Meghan and Harry step out there. They come across as people who are very supportive of family values. Okay, so
Um,
they go to the Well Child Awards, and this is a children-themed sort of charity, and Harry plays with the kids and says family is so important. But they are not looking into themselves to say that they are actually spreading very misleading messages about the essence of having family. Meghan Markle is not getting on well with her own family. Okay, even her father, who was very ill, could not have Meghan Markle visit to go and say hello.
no,
The,
no.
the relationship between Meghan and the sisters and everybody, that side of hers is terrible, very terrible. And here she is telling us, oh, family is very important. Spend time with your families. These love, compassion. They are not preaching we are not doing what they are preaching.
Mm,
Megan would have been, and I say this time and time again, as a responsible woman, all the ladies here, you will agree with me that as a responsible woman, it is also up to you to remind your husband to, oh, hey, why don't we take these kids to see their grandfather, to see their relatives, to connect with their roots? Why? So Megan would be, if Harry is the one who doesn't want to bring those kids back, Megan would have tried to push Harry to bring those kids back. Now, Harry, you always tell us about the importance of family and children and love, kindness. You should say, Megan, let's take these kids to see their grandfather, to spend time with the other children.
Yes,
This is
yes.
what family is, and this is what it means to spend time with family. They are doing none of that. Yet they are telling the world how they are very family oriented and how they are supporting these charities and promoting love, kindness. And can we take them serious? Because I
No,
think they
because
failed the test themselves. They
well,
can't.
this could be the King's last Christmas. Let's call this what it really is. I'm not suggesting it is because he actually looks remarkably well
Mm,
and he's very engaged with life. I really loved a video, a brief clip I put up last night. I really love it, and because he looks so engaged and he's talking about the traditions, how we need to hold on to our Christmas traditions, and this is, oh, I just feel so hurt, about it because, my father used to say, no one loves like brothers and no one hates like brothers. And,
mm,
you know, Harry just can't swallow his pride. He's hurt, but he's hurt everyone. But it could be his father's last Christmas. And
mm.
this is why I think America is turning on them because they're starting to see them for what they really are, just craven, shallow, money hungry, animal abusing. Look at the polo thing that's just passing off as some
It,
documentary. They're just awful. They're awful, shallow people. They're like you're saying, oh, you come from a large family. You just want to be around your family at this time of year, not them. They just hide out in their stupid, big, ugly, crass mansion in Montecito. It's ghastly. Well, I'm British. I love those old British two-story places out in the countryside. So I don't know. It's just really, it really beggars belief. This is why
mm,
America's turning on them. This
mm,
really
mm.
is. This is why America's looking at them as lazy grifters. They
They've
just
lost
want
it.
everything their way.
They've lost it. They've lost it long. They've lost relevance. So all they are really doing now is to try and, what can I say? Because when we look at that polo thing they've just released recently, and you're trying to see the essence of it all, the inspiration behind it, and why they actually went and did that when they could do something which was better. They could do a Netflix series or documentary on helping people during Christmas, and they could do something better, but they've lost it. They've got no ideas anymore.
Yes.
They've lost the support of people, and of course the royal family here barred them from using any royal images or photographs or whatever, so they can't now come up with any royal family related or themed adventure, sorry, documentaries, or because they can't now use anything that belongs to the royal family, whether in the past or present. So what is left for them is to try and scratch the bottom of the pot with what they can do out there. And time is catching up with them. Really, it is. Because if this polo thing doesn't sell, it is going to be the last nail in the coffin. Now, Meghan Markle
Mm.
will release her cooking show, I'm told, very early next year. She's going to do the Megan thing where she's going to be cooking and inspiring us through the kitchen and all of that. And she thinks that she has already told people that it is going to be a blockbuster. She thinks she's going to make lots and lots of money out of that. But I don't see that happening. when this polo, where she has been the executive director, as they put it there, has failed to make it even in the top 10. Okay.
Martha Stewart must be shaking in her boots.
Yeah. You failed to get to
The
the top 10.
competition is going to be stiff. Someone's
Yeah.
written here avocado on toast.
Yeah. And then she has her strawberry Orchard Riviera. Is it Orchard Riviera strawberry jam thing that
Yeah,
has never
yeah.
taken off? Apparently, she has failed to get CEO for the strawberry jam thing. So she has decided to name herself the CEO of her orchard. So she's failed. She can't get anybody to be a CEO. Nobody wants. Um, it's very telling of course, the Megan we know who doesn't want to take advice, and people are not interested in any way, shape, and form to be associated with her businesses. So tell me how her cooking show is going to be a success. Okay. When we have seen elements of failure in all the projects they have done. And it comes down to the lack of blessings coming from the royal family here. Because if they had left on those on good terms and they hadn't done whatever they did to the royal family through the interviews, the documentaries, and the book for Spare, the royal family would have, okay, the royal family would have, in one way or the other, pushed those businesses in a unique way. They would still have boosted their views by way of providing that backup support. Okay, those blessings from the king would have would have made Meghan and Harry prosperous, outside of the royal family, but they lost all those blessings. There's no support whatsoever. Meghan and Harry are always going to be scratching at the very bottom.
And
Yeah.
they didn't need to. That's the incredible tragedy. They didn't need to. They could have been, I really believe that they could have been so popular if they had played a different hand. But they were exposed reasonably early, and it was starting to the cracks were showing around the time of the wedding. But I believe they would have given Catherine and William a real run for their money because they were spares, you see. So they would have had more room to be creative and to move and to pursue projects that the heir can't pursue. So they've really lost a huge opportunity doing what they've done. But the thing is, Meghan can't take advice, and Harry is much the same. He really believed his own publicity in the end. The palace did a very good job of making him look. A couple of times he rivaled the Queen's popularity, and that was all the palace PR. But with Meghan, she couldn't stand walking behind Catherine. That was it, and it showed up at those at Wimbledon. The couple of times they were there, you could see she was seething, and apparently she even made a suggestion to Catherine, "Why don't we go in holding hands?" And Catherine apparently looked at her a bit gobsmacked. Why would
Mm,
you want to walk in like a couple of little kindy kids holding hands? Like you can't walk in on your own 2 feet. But it was her way of trying to maneuver her in line with Catherine. So they were coming in
mm.
together. She couldn't stand it. She couldn't stand being number two. But I really think that they could have been so popular. I reckon they would have given William and Catherine for a short time because once they're the king and queen, that's it. Because we're looking now at what's ahead and it's looking fantastic with a future with Catherine and William. But what a pair of dingbats,
Oh,
honestly.
the
Oh,
you couldn't have said that any better than you have, because if they had stayed, they would have had a very, very higher chance of making bigger impact out there. Okay, they would have had the support from the royal family, which is immense. The royal family's support system. You look at how Catherine Williams step out, and how organized they are with these gatherings stepping out. They get the outfits right. The engagements they go to are well sourced, and everything of theirs is so well organized. And look at how Meghan and Harry have struggled to even come any
Well,
closer
but
to
isn't this
managing
what we
events
love?
successfully.
But
Okay.
isn't that what we love? I mean, you were in the military. Everything is precise,
Oh
and
yes.
the shoes shine. Everything is so precise within an inch of its life. That's the way the royal machine operates. And don't we
Yes.
love it when we see it in action with some of these events? Like
Mm.
you see all the work behind the scenes comes together. It's like watching a ballet.
Oh yes. I will show you. I think this Wednesday I will do a live stream, and we will sort of dive into some of the equipments we sort of had, the outfits, the shoes, the shiny shoes,
Oh,
the
yes,
cap
please.
chains and the forage caps and the uniform. I have all of those things. I think I need to do a royal sort of a
Yes.
live like this, and I will show you some of those things, and you see how organized and smart and we were, and how Prince Harry actually has veered off that sort of organization to becoming very disorganized with his approach out there, and how they step out, they get outfits wrong, and Harry turning up sometimes with buttons not done, and he's completely forgotten the traditions and the royal sort of style of stepping out. So I don't see them succeeding out there,
Poor
because
Harry.
because in the royal family everything was done for them.
Mm, mm.
Harry, right from polishing his boots to whatever, everything is done for them. So he must be struggling out there. And I don't think Megan is that sort of woman who can keep up to that, because she also gets things very wrong all the time. Look at what she wore in front of the soldiers for that Invictus Games thing, pair of shorts and slippers. And every time she steps out, they are very disorganized in whatever they are doing.
Mm,
But they
mm.
missed out on that opportunity of making a real difference being in the royal family. I don't know what it was, whether it was Meghan Markle's thirst for money, fame, and whatever, that she thought she couldn't achieve that in the royal family to the magnitude she wanted to. And she says she decides to leave and wants to use the title to monetize all her stepping outs. I don't know what it was, but whatever it was, they are not going to succeed out there because they lack the
No.
blessings of the royal family. And that
Well,
courtesy, we
Harry,
always come back to it. The courtesy of Meghan Markle, I think, was everything that finished her off.
it's just Harry's grooming is just so low par. It's his grooming. Do you know, I love a man in a suit. Oh, I love a man who can wear a suit. I'm such a sucker for a suit and beautiful ties. And my husband had some beautiful suits. And oh my gosh. And I'd say to him, oh, honey, um, just, I'm going down to the salon later to get my hair done. Do you want to come with me? Pop into the barber? And
Yeah.
he'd say, what are you trying to tell me? And I'd say, oh no, I just thought we'd go and do it together. You go next door and I'll have my, that's what wives do. There's a way to handle your man, bring out the best in him. But Harry always he looks unloved. He looks disheveled. I always call it the mother cat's lick, how she licks her babies. And women do that with their men. I'm not saying it depends on the man as well, but I just feel Harry, it actually hurts me to see him like that because his hair, is just awful. But she should
Hmm.
be helping him. She should just say, honey, your shoes are starting to need repair or something,
And
So
stop.
I hate
That's
I hate to see Harry looking like that because it's not the way he was raised. I suppose I'm speaking a bit like a mother as well.
no, I agree with you. I do. That's how if you are a wife and then your husband steps out looking the way they do, you people are gonna turn to you and say, "What you are definitely doing something not rightly." And Prince Harry's he's spoiled young man. He grew up. Everything was always done for him. So stepping out there, I'm quite sure he would have struggled to have to iron his own shirt, to polish his own boots, to make dinner, whatever, and he should be struggling through those things. So Meghan Markle really here, because she took him away from the royal family, she should be able to look after him properly and do all of these things to ensure he's
Mm,
and is well presentable.
mm,
But yeah, that's what you get with Meghan Markle. And on
mm,
the other side, if you when you look at Catherine and you look at William and how they are stepping out, looking very presentable, very professional, we are not surprised because look at how Catherine was raised. She comes from a very, very caring, loving family. She still goes back, apparently, and does some work back at her parents. She's still very much involved. Marrying into the royal family has never changed this lady, her
mm.
Catherine
No wonder
Princess.
we love her.
Yeah, she's still the same person. She still keeps in touch with her friends, her brothers and sisters. She goes on. The other day, she was attending her sister's birthday, and so she still goes back there. Okay, what do we see with Meghan Markle? Once she got into the royal family, she crossed out all of her friends. She thought she's gone. They are no longer equals to her. She doesn't invite them to her wedding. Instead, she invites all these celebrities and people she didn't even know. You know,
Mm,
such a huge difference between Catherine
mm.
and Meghan Markle. And I know we always say that if Meghan and Harry were here, still in the royal family, they would have, sort of upstaged everyone in the royal family. But I still think they would never have staged Catherine, Princess of Wales.
No, it
Not
wouldn't have
at.
lasted. It would have been, I believe they had a window. They had a window of opportunity. And Harry knew this. Harry got desperate because he always spoke about, I know when George comes of age, I'm just going to be forgotten about. And that obviously really bothered him for him to say something like that. But it would never have lasted because Catherine she really is in a league of her own, that young woman, honestly. But they couldn't do it. They didn't have what it takes. It really
They don't
just
have
comes
what
down.
it takes. Yeah.
Yeah, and she doesn't care about Harry. It actually, she's a narcissist, and she's what they call a somatic narcissist. Everything is about her appearance. Everything is about her white skin. That's why she's always showing off her flesh, because she's trying to prove to everyone how white she is. So it's all about her appearance. So the shabbier Harry looks, the better it is for her. And that's just my opinion. I could be
Mm,
wrong, but
mm,
I
mm.
just it hurts me, as a wife, but as a mother, because my boys are really quite well groomed, and they're casual dresses, but I always, see my son when he's got something. He works in the arts, and he wears, this beautiful t-shirt under this gorgeous sports jacket. He looks
Yeah,
hot,
yeah.
He just looks so frigging cool, and his hair's groomed, and I just think, oh, there's my boy,
Yeah.
And even my other son, even when he's working and he's really busy and he's not paying attention to himself. My God, he's so handsome and he wears his t-shirts, it's oh,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just, it's
You need,
beautiful. But
you need,
Megan
you
can't
need,
stand it.
you need to take a photo with your sons, Catherine, and share with us at
I
some point. We
will, I
would love,
will.
yeah, we would love to
Yeah, because
see
I
them,
think it would
whether on
hurt
your community
Diana.
posts, okay,
I
sharing with us
will,
for Christmas.
I
Yeah,
will. But
but
I
well
think
done,
Diana would be hurt to see.
well
She would be
done.
hurt to
Yes,
see Harry in this condition. It
I
would
she
really
would.
wound her.
She would be very disappointed with the path he took because I think Diana was a very, very family woman as well, and she would have loved to see the brothers together, but more so she would have hated to see Harry, take away those kids and just run away from his traditions here. But it's sort of like Harry knew this because he said, I mean, it's like Diana knew this. Because remember when she said William is going to be the responsible one.
Oh,
She
yes,
hinted this.
yes,
I remember.
yeah, yeah.
And one
You're
minute,
right.
1 minute, I'll pause this because I think I'm getting some echoes. Where are they coming from? 1 minute. The TV is on. I'll pause it because it's giving me echoes. I'll be back.
Well, I
Someone.
don't know what you girls think. I mean, I feel they had an opportunity there, the Sussexes, to really carve out their place within the royal ecosystem. I think they could have but it just comes down to Meghan and Harry not wanting to be second. um, it just really is. Catherine was the future queen. I think that you look at Sophie, say for example, Sophie, she's very
Yeah.
comfortable in her own skin. She's got a very good relationship with Catherine and William. And I think it takes that kind of personality to come behind someone like Catherine. But they didn't have that. They was all driven by ego. That whole Megxit thing was all driven by ego. They put their terms and conditions up on their website. Who does that? What sort of negotiating tactic is this? Like if you're a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, you'd be shaking your head, thinking, why would you show your hand like this? You just don't. That's not the way you negotiate with the Queen of England. Oh,
Hmm.
oh,
Hmm.
good luck
Hmm.
with that.
I know, I know. So I was talking about Diana and how
That's
she
better
would,
sound. That's better.
yeah, it's better. Yeah, the TV was echoey. Somehow it went onto YouTube on there, and I could hear myself because I connected using the phone, and sometimes the phone switches the app to the phone to the tele. So, but Diana would be very disappointed wherever she
Mm,
is. But
mm.
she is very, very proud of William again because you can see elements of Diana and William whenever
Yes.
he steps out. It's easy to see. Look at William and how he speaks, how he sort of interacts with people, the humbleness, and you know, that is exactly Princess Diana shining through Prince William. And I was reading an article the other day, and someone was saying that Prince William is deeply hurt by how Harry is using their mother in ways that are
Mm,
not good, okay? And Harry's going on about this and talking about our mother used to do this, our mother did this, and how he's actually using their mother's name in ways that are not glorifying her, by the actions of Meghan and Harry and the projects they are on. Again, it's the very establishment that raised them and made them what they are. And here is Harry again going away and speaking about his mother, when he hasn't actually lived what their mother would have wanted them to be like. So Prince William apparently is deeply hurt by this notion of Harry going on and talking about their mother all the time and making money out of their mother's name. which is very, very sad. Look at, we talked about this, the Diana Awards, and how the boys can't even be together on a day which is commemorating the legacy of their mother. It's very, very sad. But Prince William here is, of course, the gentleman. He is going to be the next king, the heir to the throne. He's got the whole package in there, and he wants to make sure that nothing comes in the way of disrupting him from doing a great job out there. And I think for Harry to go, it
Mm,
has really given chance William to grow and do his things uninterrupted.
mm,
But I still think if Harry was here, William would have had a very, very difficult time. Very difficult time. There is a photograph. I don't know if, I'm using this phone, but if I can get that photograph back, you could see Prince with Harry in the back. I think they were walking. It was one of the very last gatherings that Meghan and Harry attended with the rest of the royals when the Queen was still here. And I think it was the Commonwealth Service of 2000. And actually, Meghan and Harry were in Canada and they just flew back in for that Commonwealth Service. It was in the very, very final days of them here in the royal family. And you could see Harry at the back, a very, very sad man, looking at William with a very jealous face. And you could imagine
oh,
a
I
lot
know.
going on in his mind.
I know the one you're talking about. I know. It's all there in his face, isn't it? Someone
Yes.
said about an hour ago now, they said, oh, they shouldn't take up poker, because they do. They've got a terrible poker face. But he showed, I know the photo. It's all there. It's all there. And I tell you what, it was such a warning, like for William to look at that photo, it would have to put him back on his haunches in
Yes.
terms of, what does the future look like if this is the state of my brother. But I want to ask you a question because after the last Diana Awards, I thought, how long can this continue where two brothers can't be on the same link together? They can't be in the same room. I mean, Zoom room. They can't even be in the same Zoom room together. And where will this go, this Diana Awards? Where will this go when William becomes king? Will he call it quits? Like, how long can this charade go on with these two?
Mm,
With
that's
the
a good
Diana Awards?
question.
Because I felt that was, I thought, oh, it's an insult to the recipients. It's an insult to the sponsors and the patrons, everyone involved in it. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think the
Mm,
future
that's
of the Diana Awards is?
it's a very good question. Very, very good question. Because even now that William is not yet king, you can see that there is a bit of a struggle to make appearances at this award. And I don't think it is going to be existing in the long run somehow because William, because the more these brothers grow apart, the more it becomes increasingly difficult
Yes.
for them to even do things like this. Now, this award here is, of course, remembering their mom's legacy, and I'm sure William would have loved to keep it going for as long as, okay? But it comes down to whether these two can put their differences aside on the day that they are going to present these awards or attend this event. Okay, because if it continues like this, appearances via video link and all of that, what will happen then when William becomes king? Just like you have said, when he can't actually have that time. Okay, because now he still has a bit of that time to be present. Okay, but what comes when he becomes busy? there is a big food for thought with regards to moving forward with this event. In the next 5 years, it might sort of stay because obviously they are, it's an organization. It has people working for it. They have plans ahead. They've put up a lot of arrangements, so those will go ahead. But maybe they might, Prince William might decide to take a step back and probably just um, maybe appoint somebody to be there on his
Well,
behalf. I don't
yeah, I
know.
mean, it does
Difficult.
raise questions because I
It's,
think it's 6 years now. It's 6 years. They've been doing this now for a number of years since Harry
6 years,
has
I
left.
think it is,
It's
yes.
yeah, and I just thought, oh, this can't continue like this. It just
Mm,
can't. I just don't see. I don't see it. I don't know. I thought I really wanted to ask you about this today because
it's very difficult because we see
mm,
already struggles starting to come up. William can't stay there. Harry does the video link. William is gone, and so the relationship between these two is at a point where you see cracks are there. Everybody can see that they are not on these terms. Now, how can they run an association of their mother when they are
yes.
in a place like they are now? Okay, so isn't that hypocrisy? They really need to rethink going this charity going forward. Okay, maybe they will be appointing people to be there and represent them. But again, that will lose meaning because it's Princess Diana Awards. So these two brothers should be there. Okay. That's something we are going to be interested in seeing how this charity will pan out in the long run, Catherine.
Well, it's partly also driven, my curiosity over that issue is partly driven by the two different approaches that the brothers have to their mother's legacy. You've got this wacko on in Harry's ear saying, "Oh, your mum spoke to me during the night, and your mother said she's so happy we're here, and Diana said this and Diana said that." And then you've got the other brother over on, and then but you've got the brother uh, Harry then trying to always upstage his brother with stupid antics. When his brother's doing something, he'll go and do something. And then you've got William. He doesn't talk about homelessness. He went and did something about it. He didn't talk about his mother's legacy until he had all his ducks lined up in a row, and then he went and they launched the homeless project, right?
Homework,
So
yes.
yeah, Homewood, that's it. And then he just does it. He doesn't brag about it. He talks about it. Then in the interview, he was asked about his mother, and he said, "Yes, this is," and then went through the steps. Whereas Harry's all talk. So I
Hmm.
just feel that Harry is
That's
disrespecting these Diana
It
Awards.
is exactly, and that is why William was deeply, this royal author said that William is very saddened with the way how Harry is using his mother's name, and saying all of these things about his mother. My mom did this, would have loved to do that, and he's doing the opposite, and then you have somebody here, Prince William, who is doing all the work that the mother did and is doing it silently without blowing horns like Harry does. How many times have we seen Harry step out and not talk about, his mother? He's using his mother as a tool to seek sympathy, and I think this approach was given to him by Meghan Markle, that we need to sort of sing and shout and do this, and talk about Princess Diana, every day, every hour, every time, because this is where the money is going to come from, I think.
See,
Okay.
Sam raises a really good point here. She says that they actually haven't got anything to do with the Diana Awards. It's independent. But then that's also like, I take the point actually, it's a point really well made. But someone needs to execute the vision, and it would seem that the brothers are the only ones who can do that. Um,
Mm.
it's a bit like the honours. It's the government that makes the recommendations, and then they hand out the honours at these
Yeah.
investitures, right?
Yeah.
So the honours, even though it's the royal family executing that role, they're fulfilling that role, but they're not the ones who are actually putting people up for honours, right? So
Mm.
that's how I see what Sam is saying here, that they don't have anything to do with it, but they represent their mother. It's
They
like
represent their
your
mother.
children
They.
go to school, they represent you.
Mm-hmm,
They're
mm. So Amanda
independent. They're independent human beings, but they're still representative of your parenting and your role in their lives. So
Mm,
they
mhm.
represent their mother.
They do. They do. Amanda says Diana Award is being taken into more political agenda by Harry. It's all on the website. Harry's taken into his own.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is why I think William is unhappy with how Diana's name is being used by his brother out there. He shouldn't be doing this. And his Prince Harry knows that without holding on to some of those things that people used to associate him with in the past, he's a finished man. Okay, so he's going to be holding on to this Princess Diana for as long as he can, because that's where he sees people pouring in with sympathies for him. Oh, it's Diana's child. Oh, Diana's child is here, but he's doing himself a disservice, because the more he does it, the more he exposes himself as a failed royal. Okay, he should have done all of these things while in here. Okay, he's still very much holding on to all of these charities connected to the royal household. When he decided to walk away, no royal titles, he said I'm a free man. He's on that freedom flight, yet we still see him very much surviving on all of these very, very royal things that he ran away from. But William is being the very mature man, the very sensible man. He's
Mm.
doing his things very quietly here, and we have already said this. How proud are we of him, and how lucky are we that
Oh,
William is the man to be the heir to the throne? I can't just imagine if Harry was in a position like William's, and what sort of future king we would have with all his ego, the lack of respect, taking in advice, and his anger. He said that with, you remember the interview on that polo thing, where he was saying that this polo champion man who was racing against his son, and his son won him, and Harry said, "You must have been hungry, must have been angry to lose to your son." And very telling of how
mm.
Harry would have behaved, or how Harry usually behaves
It's
when
just projection, isn't it?
he's not on top of anything,
Mm.
when he's
Mm.
not recognized. He always wants to be at the center, and you see uh, why he used to look at William in the way he used to in the background with that sad face. Okay, because
Yeah.
he couldn't, and you said this, he couldn't see himself walking in the shadows of Prince William.
No.
Yeah, and,
No.
and
I mean, it's Shakespearean, isn't it? We really are seeing this extraordinary. This is the kind of thing you read in history books. I mean, Wallace and Edward Simpson are not that far in the rear vision mirror just yet, but I'd be interesting to see how historians um, treat the Harry and Meghan story. It will be. It's not over by a long shot.
mm,
It's such a Shakespearean tale. This two brothers, vying for the throne, vying for, the trophy. I've got to get the trophy, and if I can't have it, I'm going to get angry and just kill my brother, stab my brother like Cain and Abel. It's just that kind of incredible story, and it just they are there for our lessons. Those story there's a lot to learn from watching these people. People go online and they say, "Why don't you leave them alone?" They're entitled to live their lives. Well, don't tell us how to use social media and that we have to live under a Stalinist regime if you have your way with online censorship. It's if you want to live in the public eye, you've got to take what comes with it.
Oh, you have to take all the criticism. And the bad thing for Meghan and Harry, they don't learn from it. They continue doing the same things on and over again, which isn't helping their brand. The struggles for the Meghan and Harry are real, with all these deals with Netflix that are not panning out the way they should be. I mean, they launched this polo thing, Harry and Meghan, so they're the executive producer. This thing would have been huge,
Yeah.
huge. It would have broken the internet, Netflix would have got millions and millions of hits, but it's struggling, struggling. Nobody wants to know. It's
But they
because
haven't promoted it. They haven't done anything. They've not promoted it. They've not done any interviews. They didn't send out any press releases to the entertainment reporters. They didn't send out any pre-screenings. They sent out nothing. They've done
because
nothing.
they know because
Yeah,
they
they just
know where
expected
they
it to.
sit. Yeah, and
Yeah.
they know where they sit. They know that promoting it even would not have helped because they don't sit well with people's their reputation doesn't sit well with anyone. They are no longer going to be able to do something that people will latch at with interest. That book Spare itself and all the lies that were discovered in that book threw people off. He
Mm.
does the paperback version. It even fails to take off. It does. Their first Netflix thing they did, Harry and Meghan, I don't think everybody remembers what is in it. Okay. And this polo thing, oh God, again they got things
I
totally
love
wrong
the way
and it's
you
badly
groan.
done. And Meghan and Harry, the executive directors, it's just so floppy, there is nothing left in these two. Nothing left. It's a real struggle for them to stay relevant. And I think this is what worries Prince Harry. He looks at himself in the long run and asks this big question: how am I going to be able to survive in the next coming few years? And it's becoming increasingly expensive for them to run their life, in Montecito, yet these projects are not coming in the way they should. That Polo thing that was released is part of the 80 million deal they received to produce a series of Netflix shows. So they have already used that money, and so it's them just trying to.
Pathetic. It's really pathetic.
So the struggle is
Oh,
real. The struggle
yeah.
is real. So I'm going to end this live, Catherine, by
Yeah. Well,
saying that
Joe's going to bed.
the
It's her
yeah
bedtime. Good night, Joe.
yeah yeah Joanne and Stedman left. Aspi is doing all the wonderful job of sending the hellos to our friends who are leaving the show. Thank you so much, everybody
Thank
that has
you.
been here.
Yeah.
Kissy, Amanda Haynes, Becky. Thank you so much, guys. Joe,
Thank you.
Giselle, yeah, you are always wonderful, wonderful to be here with us on the
Yeah.
show. Was it Aspi
Yeah.
or somebody who said, I do a behind the scenes of how the Royals behave and all of that thing? I'm planning to do that, I think, in the next
I
maybe
like that
few days.
idea.
So we will
Yeah.
do that. Yeah, get all the boots and the uniforms and
Oh, we love a man in
uh,
uniform, Francis.
yes, and we get a bit of that conversation, and I show you how the royals usually inspected us in those outfits. It would be nice.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Very
but
nice.
it's been
All right.
wonderful to
Yeah,
have
it has
everybody
been.
here.
Have a bit
Yeah.
of a chin wag.
Yes. And I hope every one of you there is getting ready for Christmas. You're looking after yourselves. Please keep safe, stay warm. It's really cold. I know, Catherine, you're in the warm, but
It's
in
humid
yeah,
here. It's humid
Canada,
in
yes,
Sydney.
it's been very cold lately. These times of the year, Christmas time, can be very challenging as well.
Mm.
So please make sure you take care of yourselves so we can all have a fantastic Christmas.
Well, all the girls are saying they want to see your military apparel, so that looks like you're on a winner there.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So yeah.
Some great comments.
Thank you,
They're
thank
very
you.
witty.
Yes.
Oh, well, good night, everyone.
So we're gonna do
Bye,
that.
sweetie
Good night.
darling.
Remember to subscribe to the channel, Catherine's new channel name. Just in case you missed that, she has
A
a new
Royal
channel name.
Australian. It's the new handle. I'm getting serious. My channel's got like, you know, 1,200 subscribers. So, I want to be a serious player now that I've got 1,200 subscribers.
Yes.
I just, I have to be ready for the big time when it hits.
Yes, you have to, and that King's Birthday Parade, which is coming up in June.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah. I'll
hopefully
see you
you
all
would.
then.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
thank you so much, Free Speech.
will you have your super stickers all sorted by the time
So,
we do our
so I'm
live
gonna
on
have all my
Wednesday?
super stickers
Yeah,
sorted by the time,
yeah.
and I will put those back. So I got into trouble with YouTube with setting all of that up, so they had to withdraw the monetization thing until I get things sorted. So I'm gonna get that
Lovely.
sorted, and we will be back in good books with the super stickers.
Okay.
But
Cheerio, Sam. Bye,
cheerio,
everyone.
everyone. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.
Mwah.
And let us see you again very, very soon in midweek. Yeah.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Bye bye. Bye.